have finished last in this division. They went 4-11-1. They had a lot of dysfunction in the front office. You fired Doug Peterson, and you bring in an entirely new coaching staff. Now, I know a lot of people aren't high on who the Philadelphia Eagles hired as their new head coach. He didn't have a great press conference, but like I was talking with my guy Philly 500, make sure that you guys go ahead and check out that training camp preview. But I think that a lot of people try to nitpick these coaches before they even coach a single game. Are we really going to not give this guy a chance and just assume this guy is a bad head coach based off a press conference? People, you guys have to understand something. Not everybody is going to be a Dan Campbell. Not everybody's going to come out on fire in their press conferences. Sometimes you have coaches who are not good in press conferences, that are just good coaches. And that's okay. But let's not just pass judgment on this guy without him even coaching a single game. For all we know, he could be better than Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell can say all the right things, but may not be it for the Detroit Lions when it comes to the on-the-field performance. You have people who can sell you a car, and you have people who can fix your car. I prefer the guy who can fix my car, get my car rolling on the road, versus a guy who can just sell me a car. I don't care if you can sell me a car if the car doesn't work. You can sell me a car for a good price, and yet I drive it out the parking lot and it's breaking down. And people have to understand this. There are two kinds of people out there. You have people who can sell you a dream. You have people who can actually go out there and attain their dream. So don't pay attention to all of the hate that's going towards this head coach for Philadelphia just because he had a bad press conference. The guy was nervous. Some people aren't good with the media. And when you look at Philadelphia this year, I definitely feel like this is a team that could be the worst team in the NFL, but I'm also having a hard time understanding how they could. Because they do have talent, at least on the offensive side of the football. If their offensive line can stay healthy, you could have a really good running game with Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders back there. Of course, you have concerns about wide receiver and whatnot, but you have Devontae Smith, and you guys know how I feel about Devontae Smith. I feel like Devontae Smith is going to end up having a better rookie season this year than what Justin Jefferson had last year in 2020. And I believe in Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts may not be the guy in a lot of you people's eyes, but I feel like Jalen Hurts is definitely going to end up having a really solid season for Philadelphia. I just feel like there is a chance Philadelphia could be the worst team in the NFL, but with the talent that they have, it's not like they are just, derived the talent like the Houston Texans. So my swing games for Philadelphia, I have week 1 on the road in Atlanta. I think that's a really big game because you look at two teams right now that you don't really know how good or how bad they're going to be, which is why I think this is a very big game for both of those two teams, both Atlanta and Philadelphia, because you have two teams that a lot of people aren't really high on and don't have high expectations. And on top of that, you look at Philadelphia, they have to play the 49ers, Cowboys, Chiefs, Panthers, Bucks, Raiders, and the Lions, the Chargers, the Broncos. So their schedule for at least the first part of the regular season is pretty difficult. There's not really any cakewalks coming up. So I think for Philadelphia, I think for them to start the season out 1-0 will be a huge momentum boost for not only this new coaching staff, but for the overall morale. Week 12 against New York Giants is a really big game for me because after that, your schedule eases up. After you play the New York Giants on the road, week 12, week 13, you face the Jets. You have a bye week, week 14. You play Washington. You got to face the Giants again. And you got to face the Cowboys. So after week 12, the Philadelphia Eagles start their division schedule. Now, it's really weird that the majority of their divisional games are going to be played in the late stretch of the season, opposed to starting the season out playing against the majority of their teams in their division. And if they can win, a couple of these games, like against the Buccaneers or the Raiders, and pull off a couple of upsets, if they can go into this stretch, with a couple of wins under their belt, and they're able to at least go, a win against Washington, a win against the Giants, and another win against Washington, if they're able to win at least one out of those games, then you have to be feeling pretty confident about Philadelphia. Maybe they could make a late playoff push. Maybe people could be underestimating Philadelphia. But with Philadelphia, this is a team that doesn't have a lot of upside at all. I think best case is 6 wins. Just being honest. I know this team has a little bit of talent, but overall, I just have a lot of concerns about their defense. Okay, you know what you have in Darius Slay as your number 1 corner. But who's playing your second option? Everybody wants to bring in Steven Nelson and whatnot, but we don't know who's going to be starting at that second cornerback spot for the Philadelphia Eagles. And even if they do have a guy who they trust in, I don't trust in him. You can sell me a wolf ticket all you want to, but there's not really a lot of talent at corner aside from Darius Slay when it comes to this cornerback position. Then you look at linebacker. Linebacker is another big concern. I mean, yeah, you signed the guy from Minnesota, but still, there's still a gaping hole at linebacker. So for Philadelphia, you have a lot of holes on this defense that, quite frankly, I don't really believe in. So I think for Philadelphia, this is a team that doesn't really have a ton of upside. This isn't a team that you can say, well, JT, if everything goes right, they can win this many games. If everything goes right for Philadelphia, I honestly believe that they only win 6 games. In my worst case scenario, they can go 3-14. Like I said, the upside is not that high for Philadelphia, but the downside is really high. Philadelphia could really crash and burn this year. Jalen Hurts, what if he's not the guy? What if Devontae Smith ends up being a bust? There's a lot of things that are coming into play when it comes to the worst case scenario for Philadelphia. I understand you Eagles fans got to be optimistic about your team, and everybody is. But let's just be honest. That defense isn't really good. Your defensive line is pretty good, but the rest of your defense is shaky. And on offense, you have your offensive line who, yeah, everybody's good when they're healthy, or at least a 30-year offensive line, but they can't stay healthy, and they're also up there in age. And these guys also, when they have been able to stay on the field, they haven't had the most success, really. They're not the same players that they once were in their prime. Everybody's getting a little bit up there in age. So 3-14 is my worst case scenario. My overall prediction for Philadelphia is 4-13. I definitely feel like this is a team that is going to be having one of the first 3 picks in next year's 2022 NFL draft. I mean, this team is not like they have no talent at all. You got a little bit of something, but you don't have a lot. I don't think this is the worst team in the NFL. I think the Texans are, but I definitely feel like the Eagles are right behind them. This is a team that does have a lot of talent. I mean, you have a lot of older guys on the roster who I feel like may be a little bit past their glory days. And ultimately, I don't see Philadelphia having a lot of success this year.